underway in racing with the elite men. Look at the gap that Perry has. Look at a rider going down. Was that Perry?
No, unbelievable. This is incredible.
Well, here you go. Early jump. Might have been a little too early. Here comes Mike's Bikes up the left-hand side. Starts the sprint early, but now comes Texas Roadhouse.
The USA Cycling Elite Nationals are the pinnacle of racing for teams like Texas Roadhouse Cycling, and being held in the title sponsor's hometown, well, let's just say that energies were high. After defending team leader Daniel Holloway's Stars and Stripes jersey in the road race, the stage was set for the main event, the Elite Criterium National Championship, where Holloway and the team hope to defend.
Heading into the National Criterium Championship tomorrow, after winning the road race, the team stress-free, we're relaxed. We've got kind of the monkey off the back, and tomorrow's is bonus for the team, the program, and everybody. We're going to go in with winning tactics and a winning mentality, but we get to go into that stress-free.
A hot and humid midday race was on tap for this one. A technical course downtown Louisville would be the stage. A motorhome parked under an I-65 overpass would be the spot to get riders together as a team. But first, a meeting to discuss what lie ahead. Team captains would be defending national champ Daniel Holloway and Indiana hotshot Kyle Perry.
Dan was really trying to just instill confidence that this is going to be a race like any other race.
We just focus on us, and we don't, particular call out other teams or other riders. We need to execute our plan.
So we're all good crit racers. We all know what needs to happen in different situations.
It's a pretty straightforward plan of, be aggressive, be at the front of the race, and create opportunities, and let's not get on the back foot.
And we need to have guys in every single move. We need to make sure we have the right number of guys.
Anybody, if in the right scenario, can win from this team. So it's not like we're all in for one guy or two guys. It's, hey, you can make an opportunity for yourself, and the team will support you.
So everyone's on the same page, and with no good places to warm up on the roads of downtown Louisville, it's onto the trainers to get the blood pumping.
It was nice. We were on the underpass on 65 downtown Louisville with ice on us, and it was kind of a good spot to get ready and get going. And it was a little more private away from the course, which kind of helped, I think, everybody stay calm and sort of get in their own zone before the race started.
The vibe was just really, really good. Morale was high, from defending the jersey, in the road race, and we were just excited to get stuck in downtown Louisville, where Texas Roadhouse and Crosley and a lot of our supporters are from. So I think we were just amped to get in front of our home crowd and race really well.
Already warm and ready to go, the team heads to the line to get to the front, planning for a long, hot day. And with a technical course, it's key to have your team on the sharp end right from the gun.
Gun goes off at the beginning of the race, and everything's going to plan. We've got quite a few guys at the front of the race being active, and very quickly a good breakaway establishes itself, and we have Kyle Perry in it, which was absolutely perfect.
Our gap went from like 20 seconds to 30 seconds over the course of like 2 or 3 more laps. And so I knew at this point, this is going to be a breakaway for a little while at least.
With the particular course, it's a lot of turning, some elevation gains, so the breakaway was out of sight or out of recollection from people in the peloton pretty quickly, and if you weren't in the front of the race, you didn't quite know who was in the breakaway. So that's obviously the point of racing at the front of the race. So I saw Kyle up there with guys that I knew that he could beat if it came down to the finish, and people were looking for Texas Roadhouse to chase because they didn't know that we had a guy in there. So it was really working out super well for us. The breakaway was working well to hold and establish their gap, and back in the field myself and the guys were kind of controlling the race and didn't let the field carry too much speed for too long to really take any time out of the breakaway.
But then we get further on in the race, and it's like sometimes it's going down to 15 seconds, and then other times it's going back up to 20, 30. So it's like I need to sort of start figuring out what my game plan is going to be. Like, this might end up being the move now. Who am I up against? who am I going to be able to out sprint, or do I need to go early? And then how much do I need to be conserving to make the break stick versus making sure I have something for the end?
You know, all I was thinking about was just kind of protecting Kyle's position, you know, off the front, protecting my position within the front of the field, and you know, just really trusted that Kyle could really, you know, get it done with his legs, and just could, you know, easily, you know, win from this breakaway. And just kind of by the race the whole day, I could feel that, you know, the peloton wouldn't quite catch that he was off the front still, until hopefully it was too late. So everything was just still working really good, and yeah, that's where we were at, 5 to go.
And with 5 laps to go, the break went from 4 to 3 riders when one racer dropped his chain, and then the move that put Kyle Perry in a spot to win the national championship.
They turned around and kind of saw at the end of one of the long straightaways that, oh, like, we're going to get absorbed after this. I don't think he was ready to put any more effort into the breakaway. And in the momentum of me bringing back the rider, I just kept going, turn around, and those guys were looking at each other like, are you going to chase him? Are you going to chase him? And I saw their hesitation, and then just knew that was the perfect time to just hit it, and it was time for me to go fly on my own.
With 2 laps to go, the shocked crowd saw a solo Kyle Perry hit the front straightaway with 20 seconds in hand, but would it be enough to win it all?
And the amount of time that I knew they had to make back, and for how technical the course was, I was like, there's no way. Like, this is in the bag. If I can just stick this and keep going. So I was like in a super good spot, feeling good about what was about to happen.
And the crowd was going crazy for Kyle.
Go, baby! Go!
That's the most people and loudest I've heard people cheering my name. Like, I'm from Indianapolis. It's only 2 hours away from Louisville. Our team's based out of Louisville. There were so many people that knew who I was at that race, and I could hear all of them at that point. I'm by myself. You don't hear like the hollow sound of the wheels and all the riders yelling around next to you. So, I mean, I was pumped. It was added bonus of everyone cheering me on, trying to make that happen.
But little did anyone know what was about to happen.
I'm coming up to the line. I'm hearing 2 to go. Everybody's yelling and screaming. I'm still feeling good, like I'm not losing any power. And I go through the first corner. To me, just like every other time I went through corner 1, it was a wide open turn. It was open enough to pedal all the way through. And then it hit the fan after that.
The unthinkable. Kyle Perry was less than 2 laps away from winning the USA Cycling Elite National Criterium Championship and crashed.
Something in a rider going down. Was that Perry?
I go through the corner, and then all of a sudden my rear wheel sort of skips out from underneath me. And by the time I save the wheel, I'm already headed straight for a barrier. Like, if the barrier wouldn't have been there, I maybe could have hopped up or like gone over the curb, but I basically went head first into the barrier, because by the time I knew I was going to save it, I was headed straight there and kind of tucked my head in, held onto my handlebars, and that was it. That was a super fast flash, and I just couldn't believe what happened. It happened so fast, like I could hardly walk. My knee was hurting. I knew I had hit my head because of the giant dent in the helmet. And after that, it was like, Dan's at the front. I know he saw me. He knows I'm not up there anymore. So please, can he be the one that saves like this massive screw up that I just went through, crashing into these barriers? Like, the national title was there. It was just like waiting for me to take it. And I just needed, like, he was the only savior at that point. It was like, oh God, let him win this. Please let him win this.
But after spending most of the day on the front of the field to control the pace, and now having to deal with the emotional swing of thinking your teammate's gonna win, realizing he crashed, and now it's all on your shoulders, Holloway had to reset his brain and his expectations.
Seeing Kyle on the ground, having to reset the tactics and go from, you know, kind of a defensive mindset in protecting the positions to, oh man, I've got to be offensive. I've got to like find the right wheels and understand what the dynamic is, you know, going into the last lap, last half lap of what teams are really going to be doing the lead out and you know, what guys are looking strong. And I really didn't have that knowledge because, you know, I was really at the very front of the race that I didn't see which teams were, you know, collectively riding really well together, or which guys look strong or not strong to really pick a smart wheel. So, you know, in the finale, I just put myself again at the front of the bike race, knowing that the little uphill kind of tight finish into the final. So was on a good wheel. Just at the end of the day, I just didn't have the legs to finish it off after riding, you know, at the front, protecting Kyle's position.
After the race finished, the magnitude of what had happened to Kyle set in.
You know, I never thought that you see like pro guys like shed tears making mistakes in rides, and I was like, I mean, it's just a bike race. It's not worth doing that. And then this like super flood of emotions just comes through, and like my eyes get all watery, and it's like, I couldn't believe what had just happened. I couldn't believe I had the win. To me, it was in the bag. Other people might feel differently, but that was absolutely winnable at that point.
The weeks that followed were emotionally difficult, but for Kyle Perry, time and perspective have calmed the waters.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, that was a crash at a bicycle race that led me to not get a national title. But also at the beginning of the day, like, I was the one at the front getting in that move. So, like, it happens both ways.
It's bike racing, and there's really not much we can do except for, you know, just kind of like think about it and then kind of move forward, knowing that we put on a show. We showed our sponsors that, you know, we can be at the front of any bike race in the country, and, you know, just bad luck is bad luck, and you hate to have it on a jersey winning day. So
I've moved on from that, and I still love bike racing, and I still am gonna go hard through all the corners and hard out of the corners, but that hasn't really held me back at all at this point. It's in the past, and I just love getting on the bike and racing through every race.